I once heard a story about a Bruneian who went to study somewhere in the north of England. Now, after a few weeks, she met up with a friend for a meal. This is apparently what played out.
Hey, could you pass me the butter knife? Eh? Butter knife? What? That thing there, the butter knife. Butter knife ka? Paning ko cakap mo ani. Balam jo lama de.
We seem to have this idea that someone has to spend a significant length of time in an environment to pick up the accent authentically. 3 years? Fair enough. 3 weeks? Definitely not. But who decided what is the correct length of time anyway? Like, is there a science to this? Because I spent 3 days watching Adele interviews on YouTube and I started talking like her. Honestly, I can pick it up so easy. And people think I'm putting it on, but I'm not. I'm not in control of it, I swear. Maybe some people are just more prone to catching accents. In any case, kausibok kenapa? When I was at uni, I was in a class with a few Americans. And when they first heard me speak, the Becky of the group proceeded to ask me,
Why do you sound like us?
"'Cause I'm American, bitch." Okay, I'm not. But there are plenty of Asians that are American and will therefore sound American. And she didn't know I wasn't American. Like, she didn't ask me, "Are you American?" No, she was straight up defensive. Like, "You don't look like us. Why do you sound like us?" Pay attention, Jennifer. Non-native English speakers can occasionally pick up the accents of whomever and wherever they learn English from. When I was living in London, I went to a corner shop and I met this Syrian guy who was working behind the counter. And he was all,
Hey, what's up, ma? What can I get you? Hey, man, you from the US? Nah, man, I learned this from hip hop and TV.
I even had friends who sent their daughter to a school with mainly Filipino teachers. And so now when she speaks English, she's all like,
Mama, I want to eat apple.
"So calm your tits, Taylor. I'm not stealing your accent." This is a standard third culture kid, international school in Asia kid kind of accent. What's it to you anyway? And then you get the kind of Westerners that don't even bother looking at you until they hear you speak in a fancy accent. Then all of a sudden they be like,
Ooh, okay. Now you're worthy of some of my attention.
like they'll assume that you're backward, but once they hear you speak, then they're like,
Ah, you're not backward. Abahan, so if I speak English with my native accent, kampungan to to.
and I get this kind of discrimination from my own brown people too. I have been in plenty of restaurants and shops where I see them falling over themselves to attend to white people while I get ignored. And I know how this game works, so I play it up.
Excuse me. I've been waiting for a menu for half an hour, but it feels like a fortnight. Is your service always this awful? Oh, I'm so sorry, madam. We give you free drink. Buy one, free one drink. This would never happen in London, which is where I'm from. I know, I shouldn't do it. But when you're hungry, you do what you gotta do.
I've observed that among brown people, having a Western accent somehow gives you an air of credibility. But it's a volatile thing. Too much accent, and you're off-putting. Too native an accent, and you're kampong. It's a legacy of colonialism, obviously, where on one hand, we still aspire to emulate our colonizers because that's how we've come to define success. But on the other hand, is a part of us that resents our colonizers, and so we want to resist their influence. So what happens? We end up turning against one another instead, judging each other over perceived failings of meeting or not meeting some white man from 1888's idea of how we should be. Having a Western accent might, at the most, mean that you've been more exposed to the world around you. But it's not a measure of intelligence, or credibility, or capability, or respectability. It's certainly not a measure of goodness. So can we please get over judging people this way and mind our damn business? Jantilon si po ani ba? Ingaw kan diri ato giloy. Having said that, there is one situation where I must draw the line and concede that only an American accent is acceptable. And that's in singing. American accent only. Any other kind. I can't.
The tables are empty, the dance floors deserted. Joe sang the same love song. Is the 10th time you hear it?
Even an English accent is unacceptable. Can you imagine if Adele sang her songs in her native accent?
Hello, it's me.
Bida ka liya.